that's enough of that intro. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to TeamODZ Live. And we're going to read badge hunt today. Again. I think I've only got a couple left. Deca dash. And then I think I've just got triple twists or something like that. From the new Chalice Island.
Twisted waist or wasted
yeah, you got
or...
you did twisted triple twist the other day, and I did
okay.
the other one. So
you did wasted 8.
Yeah, I did that one. I was looking at possible routes for the Friday ebb. That one would be a little bit long. It's just under an hour at ebb's pace. No, not yet. Did you?
Here. Okay. Nope.
Okay.
I think maybe you're mixed in with other people.
I'm right in front of the banner. There. You can see me on Discord. Let me move on up to the banner here slowly. And I'll be right at it.
All right.
I'm right at the banner.
All right, ready?
I'm on the line. Yep.
Hey, I'm at 12 hours.
There you are.
Yeah, so I took the last 2 days off.
I noticed.
Yeah.
I didn't have anyone to sweep on the ODZ entry yesterday.
You mean to ride in front of people and complain?
Well, you know, if the cap fits. If the squirrel cap fits. Anyway, when are you starting filming? For the next Matrix movie.
Filming?
Yeah, you're Neo, aren't you?
I
like Kung Fu.
So, yeah, rest. I don't know. Rest is great, but it also isn't. First of all, I really enjoy going to bed without like that pressure of, oh, I need to go to bed now because I'm going to wake up at this time.
I went to bed last night because I didn't have anything else to do.
Somehow I can always find something to do. Except for Saturday night when we went to watch Twisters and I fell asleep. I didn't even see the opening. That's how bad it was.
Yoo-hoo! Hello, Owen.
But I constantly have like one side of my hip is always tight and I'm fighting with it constantly. And it goes away when I'm racing. When I was racing the FRR tour, it bothered me a little bit, but really not that much. Not as much as when I ride easy and then when I take a full break. Then it was really like, wow, there it is. And then yesterday, going up and down stairs, all of a sudden it was like my right ACL started bothering me. Like, what is happening here? I mean, it was like a little twinge. It wasn't anything big, but
I showed Owen a t-shirt that I'm thinking of getting. On the front of it says, "Not my monkeys, not my circus, but I know all the clowns."
I do have a way to breathe in hot air.
Keep talking.
No, he lets it out when he does that.
And then talk and breathe in. Immediately found. Just talk.
I can see what she means by like, you know, I mean, I feel it anyway, just with doing zone 2 and wearing layers. Get pretty hot. And then the body feels like it's working a little harder.
Okie dokie, Owen.
I
Yeah.
should get the chat open here.
Owen says he does. He did approve of that t-shirt.
A billing delay? Is that what that says? Or
No, it
big
says
delay?
big. Yes.
Okay. Twitch has been doing that to me a lot lately. I don't know if it's... There's one spot in the brewery where you're like right on the border of Wi-Fi and no Wi-Fi. So I don't know if that creates the problem with that switch.
All right, my green screen is all set up finally. My microphone's all set up. I'm good to go.
Oh yeah.
I've got this hair that doesn't want to like just stay back.
Well, I've got
Yeah.
a solution for that, Rick.
Yeah, I know your solution. Yeah,
Owen's
today I was
fixed
thinking
his
about
delay.
doing a race today, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, since I'm not doing a race today, then I'm not gonna do one. But I was thinking about maybe I need one day to just kind of feel like heat training gets the most out of some lighter riding, and then tomorrow when you guys are racing, then I will race something else, and then I'll fit in, because then everybody will be heavy breathing and it will seem like I'm actually in a ZRL race, but I'm not. You see how we disobeyed the rules of the road right there?
There are no rules on Watopia. And anyway, like I said before, you're in the Matrix, so some rules can be broken. What do you reckon, Owen? Do you think Rick's a good fit for taking over the place of Neo in the Matrix with that suit on? Well,
I can't bend back that far.
I will have to say this, Rick. I don't really believe in that heat training gobbledygook if you're not going to race in the heat.
Yeah.
Nor do I think you need to do it too much, too far away from it. Because
Yeah, I do.
the added stress to your body when you're doing
Yeah.
heat training reduces your ability to push yourself.
I think there's a place for it on days like these days where I feel like I'd be wasting time, because like I'm rested, but I'm not going to be racing or pushing hard enough. But right now I am adding that whole thing.
Right, so you're artificially elevating yourself out of a recovery ride
Yes.
when you're supposed to be doing a recovery ride.
I've heard the two sides going back. But I've also seen people who are either holding their own or totally smashing elite races that swear by it.
Yeah. Same people also swear by, also people who swear by other things I would never do.
Well, there's a video for Rick to watch.
Ah,
I'm not saying it's not bad. I mean, look, if you're going to be racing in the heat, or even just getting yourself accustomed to training a little hotter than your bike room is there for racing, it's not a problem. Just don't go overboard with it.
yeah, 'cause it has. I mean, I haven't myself personally been able to come up with results because I haven't done it much, other than outdoor riding
Yeah.
when it is hot, which I do quite a bit during the summer. And so it's hard to tell though, was it the 4-hour long tempo ride to work, or was it the heat, or obviously it was both of them mixed together that made the big improvements this summer.
Well, I mean, you can
Man.
argue for sure that riding outside in the heat made it easier to ride inside in the cooler air. Or if you had, like I had in Pennsylvania, where my bike room was hotter than outside.
Uh-oh, Andy.
What have you
Made
been
outdoor
looking
riding
at?
much better.
How did you get on those, Owen? Owen says his Facebook feed is now full of those breathing trainer things that restrict airflow and allegedly strengthen your breathing muscles.
Yeah, those things are expensive too. I looked at those for a moment back in the beginning of doing this, of wanting to train and be better, and I was like, I feel like it makes sense.
It does.
I
If
feel,
So those have been around for many, 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 many years.
yeah,
And I don't know. I've never seen anyone who's actually using them with regularity that's at that top end.
I feel like it's kind of like
Gimmick?
like people who believe in training without carbs.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing the hard training, and it's like that
Depletion.
argument of
Yeah.
carbs or no carbs. Should you get your body adapted to working without carbs so that it's stressed to make your body better? Or should you just go ahead and use the carbs to get the most out of your workout? I mean, I'm a
It
carb.
just depends what you're looking for. They've shown if you don't do carb training, you can actually build your endurance, but you're going to lose top end.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And you can improve your ability to metabolize fat over time. That's proven. But again, depends what are you trying to do. Some of the Pro Tour teams tried that with their guys, and they could ride all day in a bunch.
Yeah.
And they could even attack and get to the break to a certain extent. But they were better in the break, but when it came down to the sprint, they were nothing.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially when it comes to hard training, if it's a hard training day and you feel like you have something left in the tank,
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. I'm all about a zone 2 or maybe even tempo ride with just going with electrolytes and seeing, how long can I go before that feeling hits? And then how far after that feeling can I keep going? I mean, then recovery seems a little tougher the next day, and you got to replace the glycogen and whatnot, but it's like, I do feel like feeling good in those sorts of situations is better for all sorts of things. For the mental aspect, which from what I've noticed personally for me, the mental aspect is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, unless if I'm punching up a hill with people who can really lay down watts, it's only at that critical moment that my power matters. But other than that, it's like the mental comes in with how long can I keep it for? Am I going
Yeah.
to keep it longer than most of them?
But like you said, recovery becomes much more important at that point. Then you got to make sure you get the appropriate nutrition in, which is where most people fail.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I feel like carbs actually help with that mental aspect where if you're loaded up on carbs, you're going to enjoy that workout a little more.
Yeah.
The hard workouts or the hard rides. So then you're going to be more likely to go back to it without feeling like, come on, here we go. Not again. This sucks. And it's, like I heard one person saying once that, like the way that loading up on carbs feels like tells your brain that everything's okay.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna be more calm and in control on the bike with more carbs. I've also found out that my body can handle a lot of carbs.
Yeah, I mean,
Owen says
that's
that
also been proven to be.
salesman's doing the carnivore diet at the moment, and he's lost between 14 and 15 pounds in just over a week.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
A lot of that's water.
Yeah.
The heck? Come on.
That's my big thing with not drinking. I saw that initial weight loss of the water weight going away. And then after that, it seemed like, then the weight started dropping over the summer. I also noticed I was eating a little healthier without the drinking.
Yeah, drinking more water too.
Yeah, it's pretty much once I got past the whole, I want to eat everything sweet and I deserve it because I'm not drinking now.
Right.
Once it became normal life and I was like, nah, I think I'll pass on the cookie right now.
What? Yeah, I think for me, what's helped is it's not that I'll pass on the cookie. It's just I'll have one cookie instead of 5.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I'll have your other 4 then.
Nah. But at this point, I'd say I'm too skinny. I don't know. Great on the bike, but it's kind of like the other day, all the pants that I normally wear were being washed, and I'm like, we had a cheerleading showcase to go to, and I'm trying on all these other pants that used to fit great. Not a big fan of jeans, but I was like, okay, jeans. And I'm like, wow, why does it look like these are wearing me?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
I have that same problem when I'm like right now I'm at 141 or 140, right?
Yeah.
But the difference to me at 140 and 145 is pretty significant when it comes to jean waist or pants waist. So my my uniform right now, it fits amazingly comfortably. It's amazingly comfortable. But 3-4 weeks ago, when I was up to 145, it was a little snugger. And my jeans now look like they have pleats because I have to tighten the belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're wearing jeans, you're wearing curtains.
I'm like,
Yeah.
one of the pairs of jeans, I'm like holding on to the hips to keep them up while I'm looking at it like, wow, there's like an inch gap between my waist and the waist on these things. What's going on here?
I have a pair of jeans, a 30-inch waist that I can take off and put on without unbuttoning.
Yeah. Does that put me in the child section now?
No, you got to go down below 28 to go to the kids section.
What was that, 28?
The only problem is I'm taller than most kids.
You're a 28, Andy?
I was. I'm back up to about 30
You
right
were,
now.
yeah. Yeah.
I would say I'm
get back
probably
down
28. I could probably get away with a 30, but
The problem I had with like going below 30 in a lot of jeans, and I go down to 29s, their thighs are too tight. All the training has increased the thigh girth a little bit, over the years. So I tried on a pair of jeans that I bought many, many years ago. Waist was fine, but man, it was like, these are now skinny jeans in my thighs. And that was not comfortable.
Like George Hincapie, he is kind of heavy, I guess, but like he's a pretty skinny guy because he's very tall.
Yeah.
But he's always styling. Every time I've seen him after those Grand
Well, yeah.
Fondos, he like disappears for a second, comes back looking like he's ready for a cruise or something.
It's because he has fancy clothes money.
Yeah, and I'm thinking he gets them tailored.
Oh, 100%.
You know, it's hard being a skinny guy doing that.
Yeah, you have to go with the European cut.
Oh yeah, it's true. Walmart isn't cutting it anymore.
No, but you can go, I mean, you can even go to like Men's Warehouse and things like that and get the slim fit or the European cut or athletic fit, whatever they're calling it today.
That is a place where they did get me pretty well.
They're not the best quality, but it's good enough if you don't have to wear a suit that often.
I got my tux from Men's Warehouse, and they actually were gonna fit me in some different pants. And my brother, what happened? Can't remember what happened. Oh, my brother accidentally, they gave him skinny fit for some reason. We put him on and he can't do it because he's pretty thin right now for him. But I mean, that's like 190.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, they looked like they were yoga pants on him. And I was like, hey, skinny fit, why don't I have skinny fit on? Then they gave me some skinny fits and it was like, oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Look at that. I do have a butt. I do have legs. Look at that. See, they're in there. You guys just handed me a paper bag and we're like, here, try this one.
Yeah, you got to watch them on that, especially they also want to do a lot of pleats. Front pleated pants. No, straight leg for guys like us.
I don't want skinny fit because I want them to suck to my legs. I just want them to not be baggy.
Look like I'm wearing a bag.
This is what skinny fit was initially made for. Before all these bigger guys started hijacking them to wear tight pants.
Is it bad that after watching all the news coverage about Health and Human Services and all that garbage, I want to create a workout program called TeamODZ?
Man, one of my coworkers is now decided that he's going on a diet, and it's just so tough to watch. So tough to watch him like eat food that he's just obviously not enjoying.
Yeah.
And then he's made it, his life, which I get it. It's a big change. And then he'll go out there and like drink Trulies out of a mug. Because that's diet alcohol, I guess.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't know. He doesn't do much walking. So he's purely just, he's an Ozempic candidate because he's like, how do I do this easy?
I'm tired of the doctors who keep saying we need Ozempic and Wegovy because diet and exercise doesn't work. We've proven that. Like, no, we've not proven. We actually proved the opposite. Now, that's not to say that it's not super complicated and challenging.
Yeah.
There's hormonal shifts.
I mean,
habits.
if they're talking about proving it doesn't work in the way of that, like consistently getting someone to do it, I mean, that's a valid argument because that can be hard.
And it's not easy, and it's going to take longer than any crash or fat diets or drugs. I get that. And I'm actually okay with, for adults, the Ozempic and Wegovy stuff as an interim to help get your weight under control so you can do more exercise. But for kids, Heck no.
Yeah, that's
Especially for under 8 years old, because
that's instilling bad
you can
habits.
control that. 8-year-olds don't go grocery shopping.
That's now starting off the entire life of what's the easy way out. The doctor said, I just take this. Look at me now. I'm healthy. Because healthy is not fat. And it's like, well, I've always been skinny, and I've been plenty not healthy.
I've also seen my fair share of doctors who aren't fit. And so they're not all like J-Flo and Ben.
That is a thing. Those are the ones that whenever you go, like, well, typically it's my daughter that's injured from cheering. Whenever we go into, because now you have to go to walk-in care. So if you try to schedule an appointment with your doctor, you're like a year out. Yeah. So we go to walk-in care, and it's like, it's a crapshoot. Is it going to be someone that comes in that understands? Or are they going to be like, just stop using it? Luckily, the first one, when I went in with her, she came in and you could see her thighs busting out of her pants. It was like, oh yeah, this is an athlete. Okay, here we go. And she was perfect. She was like, man, it was like, I didn't have to advocate for anything. She was just like, all right, so do you have any competitions coming up? How much time do I have to try to fix this?
Right.
And then, yeah, she came up with a whole treatment plan. It was pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, when I was a younger officer and I'd go to the sick call or clinic for being hurt, I'd have to listen to some captain or major or even some lieutenant colonel sometimes tell me about, we're gonna get your profile so you don't have to run or things like that. Or no, hey, you won't be able to your profile so you don't have to carry a rucksack for a while. I'd just be like,
it's like, huh?
But I had to go, okay, sir, whatever. But please don't get in your profile, I'm good. Now as a senior guy, when I hear that from a doc saying, you should just not run, reach your profile for that, I just tell them, you need to go find me another doctor because you clearly don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And their response can only be, sir, but no, we're done. Yes,
I'm sure there's some situations where it's a good idea not to.
Well, yeah.
But that does tend to be kind of the go-to is stop doing what you're doing.
Well, no, when I mean I'm talking like permanent, like you should never run. You should just stop running.
Yeah, because you're hurting yourself.
And I'm like, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Let's talk physical therapy first. And then we'll talk surgery. And then we'll talk amputation. And then we'll talk not running.
Well, that's one way to lose some weight.
There was a comedian who was an Army vet, and that was his joke was, he went to Iraq and lost 15 pounds on the deployment. He's a below the knee or above the knee amputee. And he goes, it was really hard when I came back out of the military, put on some weight. Doctor said I need to lose another 15 pounds. So I went back to the recruiter, tried to join up again. I has to go to Iraq. I was like, now that is a great sense of humor to have.
So I used to work with a guy who had his arms amputated. He got trapped in one of the machines. And so he had a prosthetic from just below the elbow down. And it had a hook on the end of it that opened up with a wire that went over his shoulder to the other arm. So if he arched his back, the hook opened up. Well, I used to work in the engineering stores with him. And at the end of the day, we'd clear up, we'd take empty boxes out. Well, he went to take the boxes out and he grabbed hold of it with his good hand. And then he'd just go whap in the side of the other side of the box with his arm. Well, he did that one day and his arm fell off. I didn't know whether to look away or what. Well, he started laughing. Oh, man. Yeah, we both really laughed at that.
Event.
He used to have a hand. He used to have a prosthetic hand as well that he put on it if he was going somewhere for, you know, meeting a vendor or something like that. And he wouldn't fix it on properly. So when he went to shake the hand, it'd come off in their hand.
Dude, I bet that led to a lot of sales just because people were ashamed and embarrassed. So I did the elimination race on here on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. If you haven't done an elimination race, it was hilly. And I learned really quick that I had to attack on the hills. I get swept up in the sprint and a couple flats that were there. So I ended up winning it by breaking away in the last lap by attacking some of the hills. But it was like, oh man.
That's all FRR was for me, was just like, maybe I'll make it up in the hills. But like, the psychology of it is I absolutely hate the hills. Hills are suffering. But it's like, but I totally knew, like, once I get into race mode, I'd be like, all right, gotta hit it harder. But before that, I'd be like, man, so many hills on this one.
On the hills, it was just, if I didn't keep the pressure on, when they caught me on the downhill, I'd get swept up and pushed to the back. So there's a couple that either the point or the elimination point was on the downhill or it was on a flat just after the downhill. So then I'd have to sprint really hard to make the cut.
Yeah. FRR was, man, I did hear a lot of complaints about it, mostly from people who quit. But like, you know, about like how the velo score works in it. And it is true, because like when I started out on it, I was placed lower than my abilities.
Yeah.
And it was rather easy to stay at the top of the GC. And then when they saw that I'm listed as an A+, they were like, yeah, you're A+, you have to be at least this CRP. And I was like, okay, no arguments here. But man, the competition on that was so cool. But at the same time, it was a really good feeling to like be battling with these guys every day. Like, I wasn't getting left behind. They were making it really hard. And we would trade off on wins. But it was like, it was a battle. It was really good. But man, day after day like that, it's like, eventually you reach a point where you're like, these guys are too good. And I'm sure they felt the same way.
Yeah.
like, what is it? I don't want to do this day after day, just fighting all the way to the end. It was a total fight though. It was good. I have a feeling I won't find a race like that for a little bit. Just how yeah, everybody's just like tired. They're here, so they're like, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And you knew the ones who weren't right off the bat, because they'd be dropped pretty quickly. But once you got halfway through those races, whoever was in the front with you, it was like, yeah, these are the toughest guys. Here we go.
Yeah, this was on Training Peaks Virtual that I was racing, and so it was like 4 people and 11 bots. So, and the bots are interesting because they all have personalities.
Yeah.
You know, some are good climbers, some are good sprinters, some like to attack. And so you got to start figuring out, you know, what they're doing. Is this an attack that can stick or not? But the bots are always calibrated to the pen, the ability group of the pen. So, like, there's no way I could have out sprinted at least 2 of the bots. That's why I had to leave them in the climb, because every time we went on a sprint, they just dusted me. But they couldn't hold the climbs. So it just makes it hard too. It's like, I get you saying, it's just like, you're not going to get into the group that's just going to sit up and pedal.
Yeah.
Not if you're on the front.
Yeah. Maybe a couple will. 'Cause it's just, yeah, it was like unlimited. Like all these guys just had big engines. And of course, I'm just doing horrible in the TTs. And because I'd be losing time in the TTs and then start making it up a little bit. But yeah, it was tough. I don't know how many people started, but in the end, I think there's 70 that were left. I believe it was like half of it was attrition. And then I got 11th overall out of that. So that was pretty good, pretty decent. But either way,
Nice.
it was like the biggest benefit was that it was like a training camp. I got out of that like I felt like either it's gonna break you or you're gonna come out just a beast. And I was hearing that all around from the people who got out of it well. They're just like, wow, I am having a couple days where I feel like I should be tired and wanting to do easy riding, but all I want to do is just smash it. And it's like, I can. It was just, I had to do so much to get my heart rate. What happened? Oh,
That's one of the reasons I like what is it, Peloton, virtual cycling. The one that's based off of Pro Cycling Manager. Because it's if you do a grand tour, especially if you say I'm gonna do the grand tour, but only in like 12 days. So on average, roughly 2 stages a day.
wow.
I mean, you got to start weighing out, okay, if I'm going for GC, I got to go easy on these stages and just sit in. Or I can attack like a madman, and then they start chasing me down all the time, and it becomes a zone 4 or 5 effort. I'll race every day.
I would imagine with 2 stages a day, you'd be able to do that for sure. And this one, I thought I could have.
Category.
I made a mistake because I had one day that was a time trial that I was like, I'm not going to max out today because it was like just about the midway point. And I'm like, I got to save something. I had already had one day. It was day 4 where I was like feeling dead.
Yeah.
Hold on. I might need to take Grace to school. I'm not sure what's going on here. Hold on. Oh, actually, I'll catch up to you real quick. I can use my coffee stuff. Let's see.
Yeah, easy letting you catch.
You're falling behind yourself, Andy.
Oh no, don't tell me it's going to connect onto that guy. It will. It will, because
I think you're with me.
Does it. Okay.
No, as he leaves, I think he has connected up with somebody else. No, he didn't. Remember the days when you got a free moment at work? I'm struggling, Owen.
Yeah, last year.
Wah. That was fun. Ah.
Get my coffee stuff as well. He's with Yumi.
Jeez. Ah. Yeah, definitely having something off on one side of my body. Can't help but feel like it has something to do with the balance of my trainer.
Now she's happy.
Ah, nope, not messing with that.
Do you eat beans?
Yeah, 'cause that knee thing that developed all of a sudden yesterday is, I can feel it there now. I don't think I did anything to it during the weekend. Oh yeah, I was thinking about back to that the injury thing, and like, you know, pushing through and whatnot on stuff. Man, for Grace, the cheering, her all-star cheering team is really good for that whole, like, sometimes the nurse or the athletic trainer will, where she's had like a couple little injuries that they're not like breaks or anything like that, you know, they're just maybe a sprain or something like that.
Sprain, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, athletic trainers always give it some rest, you know, wrap it up, ice it, you know. And then at school, on the school team, they'll actually follow through with it, you know. So I think they're kind of required to do it.
Yeah.
But then she gets the all-star cheer. They do not care.
Yeah.
They are like, we can tell. We've been doing this long enough. We've seen kids so injured and still pull through that we know what the truth is.
Yeah.
And
sure you are a
so
person. There's no medical training.
I mean, they'll keep it in mind for sure. But like, so far, every time it seems to help, because she does have a tendency to, like, once someone in that doctor authority says rest it, then she'll be like, okay. And then now she's hobbling around and stuff. But then I can tell, like, once she gets back from all-star cheer, all of a sudden she's not hobbling as much anymore. And so I think it's a good thing they do over there. But man, watching the showcase the other day, I saw one girl, like, they were doing the floor tumbling passes.
Yeah.
Looking like Lara Croft out there. And like, one of them was like, you know, doing the backhand spring tucks, and then it goes like into a, I don't know what it is, but it's like a half cartwheel twist type thing.
A round off?
And then, yeah, it's a round off, but yeah, maybe it is just a round off in the middle of it. But it looks like something different. It's kind of crazy. But at one point, like, something happened when she landed on her hands that all of a sudden she collapsed. But like, still almost kind of pulled it off, like with her like shoulders, elbows, and head.
Nice.
And she like got up and was just kind of like smiling, kind of a little embarrassed. But then all the other team members were like, kind of laughing with her, but then like encouraging and all that stuff. And kind of looked like when an NFL player messes up and they just bounce back up from it.
Yeah.
And so then at that point I was like, well, most people would be injured at this point, but she pulled it off.
Right, like if
And
they're
then,
a
like-
basketball player, they'd need a wheelchair. Soccer player would be on the
then,
ground for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that one, when you're in the competition, you have to continue on and pretend like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many times like one of them will be crying and still pulling it off, still like following the motions. You'll be like, what?
Like, that's a good
Which I
life
think-
lesson, girls. Just learn how to
Yeah.
bottle up all those emotions. Just push them down.
But then there was another one where it was like they did a stunt where they involved like throwing the flyer into the air with some twirl type stuff, and then when she landed, somebody on the base messed it up, and the back got a whole lot of that girl straight to the dome.
Ooh.
And she immediately like kind of like went partially limp, did that whole like I just
Blacking
got
out.
hit. Yeah, I just got hit pretty hard, but I'm still holding my legs under me. And then she moved out to the side, and then someone filled in her spot.
In boxing, we call
Just
that
like-
being out on your feet.
Yeah. But she was back in it a little bit later. But at that moment, it was just amazing how quickly someone else took her spot,
Yeah.
and then they just continued on. Meanwhile, like, everybody in the crowd's watching her like, what just happened? But they just keep going. Yeah, all-star cheer is something else.
Yeah, I'm all good with teaching toughness, but there's also a certain point of when you're in training, what's the value of training through an injury if you can take a couple days light,
Yeah,
and get back to full gas?
which I mean, I think they do it because it works. Like, they do what works.
Yeah, that's good.
They have gotten it. Like, there's been moments where I've been like, wow, that's a little rough right now, but then in the end, it ends up working. And so
Yeah.
I've learned to like mostly trust what they're doing because it seems to get results.
Well,
Until it doesn't, and then at that moment, I'll be like, hey.
yeah, but are you sacrificing long term for short term results?
Well, yeah, and then that's always a question. But there are people like who have actually broken stuff and everything, and then they still show up to practice. But
Yeah.
or like when
you
Grace
still
was
wanna
wearing
get
a boot.
practice.
When Grace was wearing a boot, she didn't really do too much. She would do what she could, and that was it. They didn't
And then
force
you
her
can
that
help
time.
with choreography, and you can help with watching. I mean, even if you're just watching what's going on, you're learning.
Okay, bye. Yeah, they just want you to still be a part of the team
Yeah.
and not ruin that. All in all, it's a great experience. I mean, for a kid, it's
Yeah. No, I love those things that teach discipline. That teach you gotta motivate both self and group.
yeah, and it's a family atmosphere there, and
Yeah.
they have their drama, but yet they seem to handle it really well. Like making a team out of some people that may not get along. Like even the school teams, like they have trouble with that.
Oh
They,
yeah, 'cause it's a bunch
and
of
they
mean
don't
girls.
they don't seem to do a very good job with it, kind of like this all-star team does. But that's also their focus. And man,
Well, that's
do
the thing
they
in the
focus
All-Star
on it.
team. You're paying for it,
And like
Much-
this showcase
more than school.
this weekend, it was
Yeah.
training. It was training because it was like they do it before the first competitions
Yeah.
for that. I have no idea. but it's training for, like, you know, having eyes on you, having a crowd there, and then also what do you do at the competition if something goes wrong.
And it's also
So
where you can take some chances.
Yeah. And so they ran it through like it was that, because there was at that point when she collapsed a little bit, you could tell in the crowd, people were like, why are they still going? Well, that's also the other problem, is there's a lot of, you know, strong personalities in there that want to be like, hey, stop, she's injured, you know, where it's like, and they aren't seeing to the big objective, which is they're going to be in a way more serious situation when they get to the first competition.
Yeah.
And you can still win even if someone gets hurt sometimes.
Yep.
Or makes a mistake, if you just push through and don't let it bother you.
Yeah.
And learn how to deal with that.
Gotta be a goldfish.
Exactly. I mean, it's like a race too, you know. It's like that moment when people break.
Yeah.
Man, during FRR, it was just constant because I wasn't breaking until the end. When it would be time to sprint, and I'd be like, "No, I don't have anything." But it'd be like the people who just break when there's still a chance, you know, or you get left behind by the front group, so it's like, it's over. I'm just gonna easy pedal, and it's like, well, no, just catch back up, and I bet your race will be completely different because you chose to push past your body saying no.
Yeah, so there was a race this weekend, T100 Championships, the triathlon. It's 100K total, or 100 miles, I don't remember. Anyways, Alistair Brownlee, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 70.3 world champion, knows his stuff. Screwed up out of T1, dropped his bottle, or dropped the shoe off his bike, had to go back and get it. He was leading out of the water, so he lost 40 seconds right away.
Oh, wow.
Never was able to catch back up to the front, kept going. Comes out of transition 2, drops something, or comes into T2, knocks something off his bike. Had to go back and get it. T1, he dropped his bottle, his nutrition. T2, his shoe fell off, so he had to go get that. So he was coming off the bike back in like 7th place. Ran down to the podium, getting ready to make his pass. Less than 2K to go, and tripped and fell. Going around a corner on some gravel. So he was on the dude's hip, or just like coming up on him to pass him. Tripped and fell. Again, lost 20-30 seconds. Bouncing back up and getting going again. Maybe not 20, but somewhere around there. Still ended up catching the dude and passing him and taking the podium.
Nice. Yeah. That's nice.
That dude's just like, I'm not quitting.
So the winner is the guy who won't stop.
Yeah,
what was that? Kona, where? Who was that guy that, like, he had the bloody shoes and all that stuff?
Oh, I mean, that happens all the time. Patrick Longay this year came off the bike 8 minutes down off the leader, and then ran him down, and then ran away with it by 2 minutes.
It's a horribly great place to be, though, I'd imagine. Like, when you're putting in that extra work to catch, and then you do finally get it, but man, the place you got to be in at that point.
Yeah. And like, you also got to know, did I push too hard to catch this person?
Yeah.
You know,
like at
that's
this
what
point,
happened
you're destroyed.
In the women's race, the 3rd place person went too hard to try and pull back 1st place and blew up.
Weird, the difference between blowing up and not blowing up, though. Like,
Fine line.
you go to the same place, but like, and you feel like you're blowing up, but yet somehow you're still doing it. Your body's still doing it. Yeah, I mean, I get how people mentally drop. I mean, it happens to everybody. But like, there's just so much more that the body's willing to do if you just let it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain point your body says, no, I'm done. But usually I make my body say that. I don't let my brain make that decision.
I mean, FRR isn't the biggest challenge out there, obviously, but it's for me, it was the biggest thing I've done in quite some time. It's the first time I've raced that many days in a row, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how my body would handle that much punching every day. And it was just interesting how it wasn't my body. My body did have, you know, there was some side effects as the week went on, but like mostly it was my mind.
Yeah.
Just every day preparing for full gas efforts again.
Yeah.
And knowing that
you got to get through that first 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's just knowing that you're just riding with animals and they're not going to stop.
So was everybody doing the same thing as far as everyone had to ride every day? Or were some people only there that day?
I mean, the end results were only based on whoever did the 10 rows or 10 stages in a row. So I don't know if anybody showed up once in a while. Sometimes it felt like that because you'd have someone who's like, what is he doing? Did this guy take a few days off? What's happening here? But then they'd still be 10 rounds or like whatever rounds. Like there was one guy that did a breakaway on a really good one. One of those ones where I'm like, yeah, he'll be back. And then it was like, what? How is he almost a minute ahead? And but I checked him out and he had done all the rounds, so at that point. But it was he also wasn't necessarily at the top of other races all the time. Just he kind of chose the Queen stage to be the day that he was going to go hard. Or he just had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Zwift World Series at all?
Nah.
The first race?
Nope.
The women's race it was cool because I was rooting for Gabby Guerra, but so I liked that. But the only power-ups were feathers, and everybody was getting them. And I'm not sure if she like accidentally hit the button on her controllers or what exactly happened, but either way, at the end, she explained that she had accidentally used her feather.
Oh no.
And wanted to save it till the end, but used it at that moment. Whatever. So then she's like, well, I guess I just gotta go. And so she went, pulled it off. Like, I mean, there was a chase group that developed behind her with 3 of the toughest women's e-riders that were trying to catch her, and she was still making time on them. And I was watching her camera, and she was definitely like keeping that right on the edge of blowing up. But yeah, it was just like, that was pretty cool to see, like a mistake, something not intended, not part of the plan, but then she just went for it. And like Nathan Guerra is her coach. And so he's doing the announcing, and he's like, and Gabby Guerrero is going off the front one. And like his reaction was almost like, why is she doing this? But yet he was still keeping professional. Like, oh wow, she's going early. Is she gonna be able to pull it off? And yeah, it was pretty cool when she actually did.
Getting Bluetooth dropouts. What the heck?
And it was on Oxford, or not Oxford, where was it? Or Yorkshire double loops. That's what it was. And that is notoriously a course that's not real easy to break away in. Or if you do break away, it's typically just a waste of energy, because they will catch you. And so if you are going to break away, it's a course that's good for breaking away at the end,
Yeah.
where you know you can still maintain it, because if you let off at all, they'll catch you. And she just happened to do it accidentally at the right time, that she could still handle it. There's one guy in the men's group that got a really solid breakaway. Looked like he was going to hold it. And then in the last like 5 kilometers, all of a sudden the group caught him. Might have actually been in the last climb that the group caught him, blew past him. Man, I got so much work done outside this weekend. Then it ended up actually feeling kind of nice out. It's been like, it hasn't been that much cooler out, really. It hasn't seemed, but man, it was just cold all week. And then just a cold feeling to the air. But this weekend, for some reason, it would be like high 40s, maybe 50, and it would just feel like I kind of wanted to take my sweatshirt off doing the work. And so I raked up all my leaves. Of course, I'm the only one on my street that has a pile of leaves out by the street, because the leaf vacuum already went by. I felt like my neighbors were looking at me like, what is he doing?
They'll still be there in spring.
And I'm thinking, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Because they did say they were going to try to make a second pass on the website if weather permits. But if weather doesn't permit, then the plow truck should take care of it for me. I'm just hoping that the city doesn't like leave a sign saying, deposit this at the city waste area. Which, I mean, I'll do. I'll just rake them into a tarp, throw them in the back of my truck, drive down the street, and see what's left when I get there.
Yeah, drive down the highway. Now, what have you got to drop off today, sir? A leaf. One leaf.
Yeah. Oh, they were in here when I left. I don't know. I could probably actually do it pretty decently. I would lose a bit for sure, but like it would be just about 25 the whole way to where that place is from here. It's right next to the airport, and I live kind of close to the airport.
Mm. 3 more after this one.
I do wish I had a chapstick over here.
That's the cat to bring it to you.
Oh yeah, so then I did leaves, took down trampoline, took care of the outdoor furniture, all that stuff. And then I also rearranged my basement and finally set up my gym stuff, mostly. Did run out of time with that, but I have one of the things I have like free weight section and then a resistance, like bow flex type thing. And then I have one of those Weeder ultimate gym type things. Now, I took that thing apart to move it to this house about 6 years ago. And wow, that's a chore to put back together after 6 years. Luckily, I left myself clues on how it works. I was thanking myself 7 years ago because, you know, as I started like realizing, okay, that part was there, and I put like the main frame together. It's all the pulleys that are the toughest. And I left myself certain clues by like leaving certain nuts loose on the bolts to show me that, okay, so that one needs to be taken off in order to get the cord there and all this sorts of stuff. So it was good. It was a nice puzzle. I was very happy I didn't tighten everything back down.
So you gonna do more strength work this winter?
That's the plan. I got to, because, yeah, I mean, like right now, just with this knee thing, I mean, I'm sure that's a muscle imbalance issue.
Probably. Just stop using your knees.
Yeah. I have a feeling because, man, I don't know. The trainer balance thing is just a pain. If I do it like level, I start having issues. I feel like I'm leaning off to one side too much. And it's definitely one side that's affected the outside of this right now. So now I've gone back the other way a little bit. But I'm going to leave
Get
it at
yourself
that.
some rollers. That'll fix that.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
I mean, it would. It totally would. But then I wouldn't be able to climb the same way anymore.
No, but you could do rollers once a week.
I can climb.
I need to get more steady walking going on too. I feel like that helps sometimes with those sorts of things. Like just going on a nice few miles of walking.
Why wouldn't you be able
Like
to
I
climb on rollers?
Well, it's just not the same feeling at all.
You just shift in the opposite
I mean,
direction. You want more resistance.
I've never done it. I've never done it, but there's just something to actually feeling it, feeling the gradient as it's there.
You can
That
get
it.
some smart rollers.
Yeah.
Helps recreate better. I mean, at this point, it's a fun game trying to troubleshoot all these issues. It's more fun when it's working and they don't hurt as much, but
Now, when you've ridden rollers for a while, you know it's coming when you're going to fall off. And you can prepare for it.
I love my smart rollers. I just didn't have enough room in the last place to set them up. I didn't bring them this time because I didn't know what I'd have. But man, when I was training for races, for tries, doing my endurance rides on that, it was amazing. It really helps the core too.
Yeah, I definitely have to stay on top of my core stuff. Like this morning, I felt like I was running a little behind, but I was like, nope, got to do the core. It's been 2 days that I didn't do it.
Really enjoy the freedom of movement on rollers.
I noticed the difference if I do it every day.
You want something that doesn't
Yeah,
feel
my
like you're
body-
clamped in.
Yeah.
My body's just really good at not moving a lot. So like I moved around this weekend, but it's just there's something about just like work movement is not the same as a steady move forward type of thing. I should have gone for a walk. I kept trying to get Heidi to walk. And she'd be like, yeah, that sounds good. I'd be like, all right, I just need to do this. And I'd come back and she'd be in the middle of a project. And then she wouldn't want to. I'd be like, oh, come on.
Boys, so that's gonna be it for me. I gotta get cleaned up, eat, and then ride into work.
All right, Ian.
All right, have a good one.
Have a good one. We'll see you guys
Must
later.
be almost summer there.
Yeah, it's working on it, but the weather's kind of always cloudy.
Ah.
Yeah. Here, so when we get sun, it's like woo. Yeah. It's permanent spring, basically. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
So, what night was it? Friday night? No, Saturday. I had 2 ribeyes that I picked up from Walmart last week that I'd thrown in the freezer. 3 huge steaks. And I thought, oh, I'll take those in, put them in the fridge to defrost, cook on Sunday. Came back inside, did some stuff, went to bed. Got up yesterday, I'm thinking, where did I put those steaks? Well, I got them out of the freezer, closed the freezer door, and didn't pick them up. But they were still out in the garage. Thankfully, it was cold enough that basically it was a refrigerator in the garage, so.
Yeah.
And nothing else had found them and started to eat them, so. Yeah, I cooked them, had one yesterday. Have another one today. I'm going to have steak and tater tots today.
The other day, on Saturday, thought I had like heard some clues that made me think my stepmom was flying up just to see Grace's showcase. And because she had asked at one point, asked somebody, either Grace or Heidi, about when it was. But then I was thinking, wow, seems like an awful lot, especially with Thanksgiving coming right up and Christmas she'll be flying up, so why would she do it again? Well, sure enough, we get there and she's waiting in line. Like, huh, nice. Grace had no idea. She was surprised. And then we went to Texas Roadhouse after that. It's amazing how busy that place still is for all these years. But man, I love those rolls. And I had a beer for the first time in a while. I had a Sam Adams Winter Lager, and that was so good. That's the one beer that I've been craving a little bit. I don't crave beer But that one, we were supposed to make a beer kind of like that at the brewery, and Clay decided to make his own beer, and it was not that. It was a lager that you could drink during the winter time, but it was not a winter lager. A, you know, slightly spiced lager as we wanted. Typical. But so then I got my mind on it where I was like, oh, I really want one of those at some point. So that was the perfect situation. And I like this idea of the new me where I order a beer, it shows up, I sip on it, I go, oh wow, that's pretty good. Didn't even have like that beer flavor you get when you don't drink beer for a long time. And then when it was time to leave, I still had beer, and I'm like, now I got to make that decision. Am I gonna drink the rest of this beer really quick, or am I just gonna leave it? And so I took a gulp, and then I just left it. Like, wow, this is a new day, brand new day. Now some would say, no, you finished that beer. And I might question them on whether or not if they've self-evaluated their drinking. But they're more than welcome to their own ideas, you know. Because when everybody stood up and they have their coats on and they're waiting and you're just chugging your beer down, it's just not a good look. I'd rather be the guy that just leaves the beer than the guy who's like, hold on, go. Then it almost looks like you're gonna drink everybody's beer at the table. Did I ever tell you about the Death Wing challenge that I did at the brewery? I told you about the after effects. I know that, where I was very cold sweats and shaky in the middle of the night, sitting on the toilet with a burn like none I'd ever felt before, except for the time that I had done it before that. But did I tell you about, at the time, one of my coworkers, she brought her boyfriend, and he's a little bit older than her. He's older than me. And man, he is something else. He is a hoot, that guy. But he goes and decides he's gonna do the Death Wing challenge with me. Nobody else would at the table. And so he goes, and it was 4 wings. He has the first wing, and I mean, I'm just kind of munching through it, like, you know, it was hot because I think it started out at like 2.5 million Scoville units. It was like, you were definitely at the top of the list. Like Carolina Reaper was the first one, and then you were making your way up, type of thing. And it was hot. I knew there was more coming. And he was like, he was very theatrical about the entire situation. Can't remember if it was that one or the second one he had. But he immediately like stands up, chugs his beer, reaches over, grabs Shannon's beer, chugs her beer, grabs Craig's beer, chugs his beer. I'm at this point like sheltering my beer, like, no, you're not touching my beer. And they get new beers. He does it again. This guy was ruining himself. He ended up drinking too much, and he couldn't handle the heat. he ended up checking out, or tapping out after the death wing. He ate half of it, and then he's like, no, no, no. And he tried for a couple minutes. You're supposed to go maybe 5 or 10 minutes before you have milk to complete the challenge. And my only question was, will the milk help settle your stomach so it doesn't hurt so much tomorrow? And the answer was no. And I said, okay, I won't need any milk then. I can do this. This is fine. But I can't do the first thing in the morning and that sort of burning from that part of my body. That's the one I can't do. That's the one that makes you feel like something is very wrong and you are very unwell and you might need a doctor's advice from it, you know? But he went and drank the milk, which then curdled with all of the beer that he had chugged and the hot sauce, which led to him running outside to throw up, which actually in the end ended up saving him from as much pain in the morning. So in his way of doing it, the milk did help for the next morning. But yeah, he was a mess. The story's still told to this day around the brewery. And Shannon always goes, ugh, so embarrassing. I bring my boyfriend around to meet you guys, and then that's what he does. I think I need to ice my knee, or icing it. Oh yeah, I could definitely get hot air going on right now. I can feel the heat coming out of my jacket right now. Oh wait, I'm with the wrong guy. He's going fast.
Wait for me after. I could have done the same thing. I'm saving it for the next lap though. This is my final climb.
Like right here, I have my Marsh Island branded face thing. See, if I unzip my jacket a little bit, now I'm getting the hot air. It just doesn't work right. Maybe that doesn't work at all.
That's the Smokey and the Bandit. Swamp fever!
I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm still getting cool air. Yeah, I think it's too tight. Yeah, it's not working. Ugh. But it can help with sweat. Very interesting that my earbud microphone is working. And I can hear it. There we go.
One small round.
What's the course tomorrow?
Can't remember. I'll have to look. It's going to be a tough start. It depends. Bit of a run to a sprint. Into a sprint. We're going to catch on from the start. You get me to the top or somewhere close. Ah, it's dropped me. Or has it?
Oh no.
No, I think I'm still with, am I? No, I don't know. Yeah, it's pulling me back. Yeah, almost. Pedals then. No, it's grabbed me onto Gino. Now it's onto you. No, it... I think I'm stuck on Gino now.
Oh.
Doesn't matter. I mean, this is going to get me to the top. Timed it so it would.
Did I have my friend back, Gino? Oh yeah, not giving you back. Even though we've been riding together this entire time. Maybe they'll fix that one day. Be like, it will latch on to whoever you've been riding with the longest. I wonder what it's set to look for at this point.
I don't know, but you know, it's not doing anything now, so. And my coffee stock's done anyway.
Morning, fellas.
Yeah, Greg.
Good morning. There it is. Where's that
in be-
voice?
In between all that phlegm.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going.
Good.
He's finishing up Deca Dash.
Ah.
1.5 years ago.
Thanks for the ride on.
Have another.
Is that just repeats of a Jervis loop?
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
laps.
It's a dashing course.
Where did Gino go? Now it gives me a feather. Not going up again, Swift.
It sets you up to go again because you got to go to the sprint line. Man, Wu really had me on Friday with that. I did not think he'd go that early. All of a sudden he's going, and I'm like, I was already in a mode where I felt good. But there was some catching up to do.
Well, here it is, Rick. I'm going to 52k though. There we go, route badge. Yay. A bit close to 52 now. There it is. And an empty bottle, perfectly timed. What are you about to do, Greg?
Just gonna ride for a little bit. Nothing. I'm doing the triple twist.
Okay, yeah, I've got that one to do, that's it.
It's 24.
Yeah.
24.3K.
So I helped Hope with her engineering homework the other day, a couple of weeks ago now. And
Wow.
it's all about
Just even
threads.
helping is
And I mean, I didn't just give her the answers, I helped her understand it.
you say it's all about threats.
Threads, you know, screw
Okay.
threads.
Oh, okay. No
So,
threat.
she told me yesterday that she was the only person in the class that got 100% on her homework.
Oh, nice. See, like you say that, it's all about threads, which makes it sound so much easier than it is. What kind of engineering is it?
Well,
Not that it matters.
Studying
Remember when
electrical
my...
engineering, but you know, they've got to do mechanical stuff as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when my cousin, she's the one that's my double cousin. We're related, we're brother and sister because both of our parents are related. And so we lived together for part of when she was going to college. And I remember her doing her homework, and I would look at it and be like, I don't even understand what's going on here. I don't even understand the beginning of how to understand what's going on here. Even just the introduction is like, huh? I don't get it. But it did make me want to be one, because I know, I think like in the end I do have an engineering troubleshooting kind of mind, but you know, I did kind of think maybe engineering tech, but that's also, I mean, the only problem is math is not a strong suit for me, and engineering kind of requires that.
No, it does.
Even basic math is something I have to refresh on sometimes, let alone getting into the engineering stuff.
2 + 2 is 7.
But then there was always the Jerry math thing. So I was like, maybe there was a chance. You have to figure out how to get through the math in school. And then after that, once you get placed in a job, they assume you know what you're doing. And you make it more practical. Because I feel like it's like anything, they want to teach you the broad spectrum of all of the maths. But then once you get to the job, you're really just doing the same math. And like, it's like at my work, anytime some equation needs to be done to figure out a problem, I work on it. I think about it. Craig comes up. He's good at math. He does the equation. I go, yeah, sounds right to me. And then we put it into action,
Well, I'm going to say thank you to everyone for joining us on the stream this morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a CRL race, if we get enough people. Hopefully we will. And then we'll have some more tomorrow evening. See Greg again. Until then, yeah.
I need to remember this week so that I can tune in.
Yeah, well, go on, Rick, say it. Lean over.
Well, bye now.
There you go. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.